If you live in the UK, you should know that the general election is coming up. This might not seem important to you because all the parties are the same. My vote doesn't really matter. I'm a woodlouse who stumbled across your videos and I don't have thumbs, so how am I supposed to vote? Woodlice who are watching, I will let you off because a ballot paper would squish you. Everybody else of voting age, you have got to vote, and here's why. Even though the differences between the parties seem to have lessened recently, there are still a lot of them. For example, if you think that as one of the wealthiest countries in the world, we shouldn't help people from other countries when they're in need, and that foreigners with HIV are the ones destroying our NHS rather than the cuts made by our own government, you might like UKIP. If you're not terrible, you might like one of the other parties. Ha! In all seriousness, there are a bunch of websites and tools that you can use to work out which parties align with your values and beliefs, which is really helpful if you want to vote for a party rather than for their leader, because all the leaders are pretty rubbish and clearly not human. I will link to websites and tools below. Another reason why it's so important for young people to vote is that policies are created for the people who turn up. Older generations are typically less progressive, more conservative, a bit more likely to read the scary fairy stories they print in the Daily Mail, because it lines up with what they were told when they were younger. You know, when we were a more sexist, racist, homophobic country. The good old days. Obviously not every single person who's part of the older generations is like this, but statistically they are more likely to be. Younger people are more likely to be progressive and open-minded and good at things like tolerance and Tinder and drawing on Kylie Jenner lips. The estimated voter turnout in the general election in 2010 for people aged 18 to 24 was 44%. The turnout for those 65 plus was 76%. If you're creating policies and campaigning about issues and you know that less than half of 18 to 24-year-olds are going to turn up to vote, but that 3/4 of all 65-plus-year-olds are going to be rocking up to the booth, who would you be trying to win over? Not young people, because they just don't seem to care that much. So what does that mean? Exactly what I said before. Policies are created for the people who turn up. So turn up, prove that the young vote matters and that we are the people you need to impress if you want to win the election. I have to be honest with you, I'm pretty scared about the future of this country. UKIP are doing well. UKIP who want to cut the foreign aid budget, abolish the Department of Energy and Climate Change and scrap green subsidies, abolish the Department for Culture, Media and Sport, leave the EU, not offer amnesty for people who come into the country illegally because they need help, withdraw from the Court of Human Rights, and who value an overarching unifying British culture which is open and inclusive to anyone who wishes to identify with Britain and British values. That is like the plot to a horror film. We have made so much progress in this country and young people need to protect that and continue it. We can do that with our vote, so vote. The deadline to register to vote in person is the 20th of April, to vote by post is the 21st of April, and to vote by proxy is the 28th of April. I will link to all of the forms and relevant information below. If you're eligible to vote, go and register if you haven't already, and then tell me in the comments why you've registered to vote. Why is your vote important? And try to ignore the fact that this video was made by somebody sitting on their floor in their pajamas who left their hairdryer and their curling iron in London. Hello, welcome to this video which is sponsored by Match.com, which is why I did my hair for once. They have asked me to share my dating secrets. I am really, really good at dating.